I think we all know that sting, that very specific sting that comes along with waking up early on a release day, rolling out of bed, grabbing your phone and hitting the sneakers app, only to learn 10 minutes later that your entry wasn't selected. Now that's the type of thing that ruins a release day, or you can even mess up a whole weekend like that. And rather than let you feel that same sting over and over, I want to lace you with 4 strategies that I use regularly to catch more W's than I do L's. Now, these are all easy strategies and easy tips. They shouldn't add too much stress or strife to your life, but the results could be big. Before we make the jump though, I'm Tyler with Deadstock Media. If you're interested in learning more tips for adding to your collection, checking out new unboxings, or even fielding some giveaways, you come to the right spot. Think about dropping us a like or a subscribe. We definitely appreciate them all. But without any further delay, let's get to it. So I'm gonna lead with one of the bigger tips that I can give you. And it's often one of those things that goes under the radar for a lot of people, but it's engagement. Yes, Nike wants to sell you shoes. That is true. But there's a lot of things on that sneakers app that have nothing to do with selling you something right this second. There are features dedicated to upcoming shoes or new campaigns that Nike may be running. There are also tabs dedicated to different cities around the world and where the locals there get their shoes from too. The Nike team also creates watchable streams that showcase new shoes, upcoming products, new clothes, artists, athletes, things like that. These things can be watched live or they can be replayed at your own leisure, so in case you can't catch them when they come on, you always have an option. I say these things to say that you should be interacting with them. Maybe not every day, you don't have to do all that, but certainly more than never. Pick up the sneakers app when you're not going for a release, pull down to refresh it, and just check out all the things that you had been missing. You're not going to be mad at yourself for doing it. When you get into the various feeds and reels, you'll see that a lot of it plays like an Instagram story. So even if you can't actively watch, you can put your phone on mute and it'll cycle through all the stories it needs to, and you'll still get the credit. My next strategy is actually something that I just alluded to. Pull down. It might be an unsung hero, but just hitting refresh opens up a whole world of possibilities on this app. Look, I'm sure I'm not the only one that the app is not super reliable for updating itself. So every time I click on the app to start, I just refresh it, make sure that I'm not missing anything, and I thank myself later. Not only does it refresh content, but it'll also show me any upcoming shoes that I want to add to my own calendar. There's also the possibility you may luck yourself into a restock without even knowing it. I've certainly done that before too, so make sure you refresh. Now this next one, I'm sure not everybody's gonna be with me on, but you gotta stick with me because I'll make it make sense for you. You can't always go for retros. If you're only going for retros, the Nike algorithm isn't gonna be very rewarding. I just don't think that it is meant to support the folks that are only supporting the app when they're going after a hyped release. Now, the reason why people aren't gonna wanna hear this is because to combat this, I've had to support the app in different ways. Non-hyped releases, clothes, socks, little kid shoes for my nieces and nephews. All of that is fair game because it shows that I'm going to that app when there's no Jordan 11 or Jordan 1 releasing. Now, whether all those small purchases keep me worthy in the eyes of the algorithm, now that's something that I really can't speak to. But I certainly feel as if these types of moves keep me in the running for those hard to get releases that I know I wouldn't get otherwise. Now, my final strategy is one that I really like to keep tucked, but for those of you that have stuck with us to the end of this video, I really want to make it worthwhile for you. And the best that I can do, the best way that I know how to do that is by dropping this gem on you here and now. And that, my friends, is multiple accounts. Simply put, multiple accounts means multiple chances at that same release. I encourage all of you guys to basically download Sneakers app on as many pieces of technology as you can. Your phone, an old tablet, an iPod Touch from back in the day, whatever you can, because that's going to increase your odds in landing the shoe that you want to land. Now, I will say for each profile that you make, you're gonna wanna have a different credit card logged for each profile. That way, in case you do hit on multiple accounts, you are not possibly canceling your order when Nike sees that your credit card gets charged multiple times. Now, the moment that I started with this strategy, I know that I'm gonna have people asking, well, how many profiles do you have? How many accounts do you rock? And I'm gonna tell you right now, I regularly rock 3 Nike sneakers accounts, and one is through my personal phone, one is through my work phone, and the other is through the house iPad. On really hyped releases, I will enlist my fiance's phone and I will have 4 entries running at a single time. Although that's a bit more of a rarity these days than it is a regular thing. So like I said a few moments ago, having more accounts means just more entries at the prize, you know, getting more cracks at it. And I think as individual sneakerheads, all we really try to do is stack the odds in our favor as much as possible. In this day where we're going up against resellers, bots, and every other shady entity in the sneakerhead world, I think that whatever we can do to take a little bit of that power back, we should. You know, nothing in this life is 100%. And early in 2021, Nike came out and said that as low as 7% of users on the sneakers app were getting W's. And they said that they were gonna work hard to address that and make it more equitable and fair. But the months after they made that release, I wasn't noticing any difference. In fact, I was seeing that I was coming up with less W's. So it was around that time that I started to get crafty and develop my own set of strategies and tricks and see what I could do to, you know, game the system on an individual level. I will say that between November of 2021 and the release of this video in late February of 2022, I have entered 14 sneakers releases, 14. And of them, I've taken wins on 6. So 6 out of 14, much higher than 7%. And actually, that's a hit rate of 42%. So, I mean, do with that what you will. They say the proof is in the pudding, but going from roughly 1 win out of every 10 releases to closer to 4 wins out of every 10 releases, I mean, what more can I say? That's literally the difference between a handful of pairs in a year versus gaining a few pairs in a month. So there you have it, folks. There are 4 ways at increasing your odds on the sneakers app, and I hope that you took something from it. Like I said before, this is just my personal list, and I'm not a scientist, I'm not a data researcher, I'm not any of that. I'm literally just a guy who likes sneakers, like you. And while I do think that if you employ some of these strategies into your own methods that you're gonna see a boost in your own returns, I'm eager in seeing and hearing what it is that you guys think. You know, did I hit it on the head? Did I miss out on a strategy that works really well for you? Let me know down below because I'm into it all. And if you did take anything from this video, feel free to drop a like or a subscribe down below. Know that it's always appreciated. For Deadstock Media, this is Tyler, signing off.